everybody and welcome to my channel. My name's Arena and on my channel we talk all things sales, career progression, goals and so many more things. And on today's video I wanted to tackle something really basic for anybody that's new to sales or considering a career in sales. So I want to tell you 3 key things to be aware of to prep you in the journey of sales. Don't forget, if you enjoy my content, like, share, subscribe, make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos from me, and share with anybody you know who's also in sales or really considering a career in sales. If it helps anyone else, please don't forget to share it. Also, I'd love it if you comment, give me some feedback, and also comment any topics, any questions you've got, anything particular that you want to know more about, and I will do my best to put out videos in regards to that. Number 1, this is probably the biggest thing that I would say someone needs to know when they are interested in a career in sales or just starting out. Rejection is part of the journey. So you have to be very much prepared for the word no. It's really hard to be prepared for the amount and the level of no's that you're going to get in a career like sales. So to help you in doing this, one mantra that I gave myself as I kind of got into sales and was learning how to best manage the no's, and something that really helped me was the saying, it's just a no for now. So I would never really get hung up on the fact that they didn't want to buy there and then. For me, in my experience as well, I have proven to myself that often a customer may just not be ready at that point. It doesn't mean they're not going to be a customer ever. So this took the edge off for me when I was hearing the word no. And I would be very upfront in saying to my customer, do you think it's a no forever? Or is it worth me coming back to you a little bit later in time and seeing where you are? Or would you mind me keeping in touch and kind of telling you about new developments that we're coming across? And I would always try and really find out what the no was about. But I'd accept it. I'd say, that's no problem at all. It would help me fine-tune my process if I could maybe get a bit of feedback from you as to why you chose to not go ahead on this occasion. And sometimes it would be, right now is not a good time. It may be that, I really like the service that someone else gave me. It may be that it's just out of my price range. This is really important information. And so I started to look at it, it's a no for now. And if I can find out a little bit more, worst case scenario, they may never buy, but I've learned something from the process. And maybe if I get the same feedback, also it's maybe something to work towards. Maybe one of our processes need fine tuning. Maybe it's something I'm doing wrong if I'm getting the same feedback, and I can then work on my own skill set, on my approach, etc. But to me, even a no is, if nothing else, a learning opportunity. And also I would think of it as it's a no for now, not necessarily a no forever. The other thing that helped me process a no was reminding myself that it's not a no to me, it's a no to the service, it's a no to the process, it's a no to what I'm offering, rather than a no directly at myself, because it does feel very personal when someone turns you down or puts the phone down on you, or whatever situation your no comes in. It can feel a very rejection can be painful. So I would also remind myself that it's a no to my offering, it's not a no to me. And I feel like that also helped me. So definitely be prepared for the no's and don't take it personally. And also do know that the more no's you get, the more yeses you're eventually going to get. And the no process is also a massive learning curve. So please don't forget that there's a lot of learning in those no's. Number 2, relationships are really important. So when I first got into sales, I probably was a little bit guilty of just wanting to close the sale, wanting to do the deal. Now, there are tips and tricks that you can learn that will help you close the sale quicker, and the right questions to ask, etc. But you really want to make sure that you get to know your customer, and then that you can really provide a solution to a problem they're having. Now, as amazing as it is to close the deal there and then and to get a very quick close, if you have given your customer something they maybe don't understand, something that perhaps they didn't quite need it and maybe they needed something slightly different. If you give your customer the wrong product, if you give a customer a bad experience, if you force a customer in, trying to get something done quicker, if you don't handle that sales process and you don't really take an interest in the customer, you don't really understand their problem, and then you just dump on them a product or a service that isn't really right for them, the long-term repercussions of that are far worse than if you took your time a little bit more, than if you really stopped to understand if your product or service is the right thing for them. And maybe sometimes it isn't, and that is okay. But if you rush the sale and if you try and close fast, you're going to miss out on what creates long-term success, long-term trust, and even, a referral that they might have given you down the line. This may not happen because you have rushed into something and rushed your customer and rushed yourself without really understanding what you're trying to achieve with them. So relationships are really important, and the reason I say that's because you really want to get to know your customer. And the main reason for you providing the service should be that you want to help them and you want to really find a solution for them. But without having a relationship and without really being a great active listener and really understanding what your customer is facing, what issue they're facing, it's very, very hard to create a good relationship that's going to last the test of time. And some of my biggest lessons came when, maybe I rushed the sale, I rushed the process, and the customer was really unhappy. So the referral that I could have had, they never gave it to me. And you lose trust as well. So that's really, really damaging. Now, the way I work now is really important that if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If a customer says to me, this is an issue I'm having, then that's the issue we're going to solve together. So it becomes a relationship, it becomes a partnership. And when I commit to providing that person with a solution or a result, it is for the long term, and I want them to have a really great experience with me. I want them to feel really supported by me, and I want them to tell everybody they know about the experience they've had with me. If I rush the process and if I leave my customers stranded with something they never wanted, or if they have a really bad system experience, that just word of mouth is major. So if you try and win quicker rather than take your time to really understand, that's never going to benefit in the long run for you as a professional. And the other thing I've realized is not just in the career or in the role you're in now, at the end of the day, customers buy from people. People buy from people. So if you're the sort of person that is trusted, if you're the sort of person that has integrity, that keeps to their word, that really supports someone, it doesn't matter where you end up, whether it's another company, whether you start up on your own, those customers will remember you. So creating a really good relationship and really being there for your customer is going to serve you not just right now, it's going to serve you a year from now, it's going to serve you 5 years from now, because it's the reputation that you're also leaving behind. If there's one thing that I can say above all others in terms of how to get a sale, is really trying to understand your customer and create a long-term successful relationship rather than just a quick sale right now. And key tip number 3 is never stop learning and never stop growing in your role. So it's kind of nice when you get good at sales. It's actually amazing. And you just keep doing it. And there was a small period of my career in sales, let's say, where I got a little bit comfortable because the sales were coming in and I got a little bit complacent, and I was doing very, very well. I was closing constantly, and I got to a point where I realized I was doing really well, and I had to make a decision. What do I do now? Because it actually became a little mundane, shall I say. As wonderful as it is, I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm too good and it's too comfortable at the moment. So the other thing that will happen if you do that is you will reach a point where the same thing may not work. And then you're completely stuck because you haven't really kept up with what's going on. You haven't really progressed in your own skill set. You haven't really continued to challenge yourself, and things change all the time. The markets change all the time. The customers change. Your own company, the products might change. You have to stay on top of things, and you have to keep working on yourself. You have to keep progressing yourself. And one thing that I find really nice is I often try and find a mentor for myself. Now, it doesn't have to be someone, physically in your company or someone physically in front of you. It can be someone that you maybe read about, maybe someone that inspires you, can be even a celebrity or whatever. But if you see someone doing something really, really well and you think it could serve you in your role, for example, public speaking, for example, coaching other people to do sales, for example, teaching new team members, if you keep yourself always learning and always progressing, you're not gonna find yourself becoming complacent. And another thing that I'm personally quite specific about is that I don't want to get too comfortable, because I feel like this is where you can stay in the same position for years and years and years and decades, and then let's say the company goes bust, let's say they let you go for some reason, let's say I don't know, anything could happen, and you no longer have that job, let's say. Now, because this is the only, because you've stayed good and you've stayed how you've been for so many years and you've not really grown, if that happens, it really throws you off your axis. And I've seen this happen so many times when companies close down. We've had some up and down times recently as well. And to me, I feel like if you continue to grow, it doesn't matter what happens, you can take those skills, because nobody can take those away from you. You can take everything you've learned and start over, whether it's another company, whether you start your own thing, whether you teach other people, whatever you choose to do, because you've constantly continued to learn and adapted to things. You will also continue to adapt in something else should things not work out where you are now. So for me, being able to keep learning and stay adaptable and stay up to date with things and keep tweaking your own skill set, keep learning, keep adapting is really, really important. So yeah, just make sure you keep learning, keep growing, keep advancing your own skills, and challenge yourself. I think one thing I also recommend to do is get feedback, because often we can only see ourselves from our own sort of point of view. And if you're quite open and you've got a good relationship with your customers, they often give you the answer of why something's not going well, or maybe they don't like something about your product or your service. Maybe they're getting a bit annoyed at a certain aspect, and that's really valuable information, because ultimately they're the ones that are giving you that feedback from the customer's point of view, and it will help you make that process even nicer for them, easier for them. It's all about making sure that they're feeling supported and they're enjoying that journey with you. So feedback's really important for your own development and progression, to improve the business, and also to really get the advice of the person that is buying the product, and the feedback. So that's really, really important. So this is like a little side note. Feedback's important for everybody involved. So don't be shy in asking, how did you find the process with myself? If you were to recommend me someone else, what was it that got you to do that? If you didn't recommend me, what was the issue that you had? And all of this is really, really important, and it keeps you forward thinking, because also getting this sort of feedback from many clients and many customers will give you a bit of an overall picture that if you don't ask, you'll never really know. So yeah, I also recommend getting your feedback from your customer. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been useful for someone. I'm really excited for you if you go into sales. It's the most rewarding career and field that I have ever been in. So I think it's amazing, and it's the most exciting career. I can't say enough good things, but I wish you all the luck in the world. And please comment if you are going for an interview, or if you're embarking on a career in sales, if you've just started. please comment and let me know how it's going. Again, any questions you have, I'm happy to do videos, any topics you've got in mind. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. And don't forget, if you enjoy my content, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye, guys.